Well, hey everybody, it's Paul. Welcome to the Monty Hall problem. Now, you may be my age and you can remember back to Let's Make a Deal. And I love that show. Monty would get a contestant up and he would have three big doors and he would say, behind one of those three doors, there is a brand new car and you can have it if you choose the right door. Now, of course, Monty knows where the car is, and there's always a new car and two goats. Now, you choose whichever door you want. Monty is going to open a different door. He is always going to show a goat. Now, the rub comes in when he says, when he shows you the goat, he says, do you want to keep the door that you chose, or do you want to switch? Now, with our minds, we think, well, it doesn't matter. There's two doors left. It's a 50-50 choice. Switch or don't switch. There's no one that's better than the other. It's a 50-50, you know? But that's not really the case. That makes sense to our brains. Intuitively, we say, it's got to be 50-50. And people will argue and fight. And this is just probably going to start the same thing on the channel, because people will think with their brains and say, it's got to be this way because it feels right. But if you go through it all, do the math or whatever you want, do all the choices, that's what we're going to do here. It only takes a second. Even though it feels wrong, you'll see that you should always switch. So what we're going to do now is, I've got three doors laid out. I'm only showing like mainly one for the screen to make it easy. But this is going to be door number one and all the choices here. And remember, this is going to be no switch. So, and I'm going to do door one, door two, door three. So we're going to go through all the possible choices. Okay, so now what we're going to do is we are choosing door number one. Okay, and then Monty knows there's the car there. He isn't going to show you that. What he's going to do is open three and show you a goat. And then he's going to say, do you want to stay with your choice of door number one, or do you want to switch? And we are doing the no switch. Okay, so we are going to stay with door number one. And this is where you think, well, it's a 50-50 because we know it's not here. He's already showed us the goat. So we've got door one to stay with, or we can switch to two. It seems like a 50-50, but you'll see in a little bit that you're better off always switching. Although in this one, we started with the car and we're going to end with the car, and we're a winner on that round. Now we're going to choose door number two. Now Monty can't open door number two, and he can't open door number one because that shows you the car. So he is going to show the goat in door number three, and he's going to say, do you want to stay with door number two, or do you want to switch to door number one? And we are doing the no switch, so we are going to stay with door number two, and we're a loser this time. We get to go. The last of the no switches, we are going to choose door number three. Monty's going to open, he can't open one. You chose three, he can't open that, so he's got to open two. And he shows a goat and says, do you want to stay with three, or do you want to switch to one? We're doing the no switches, so we are going to end up with the goat. It's a loser. So here we see the whole thing. By not switching, we're a winner one time and we lose two times. Okay, so by not switching, we win 1/3 of the times. All right, so now we are doing the choice of switching. And this should show us that we're going to do better by switching, even though it feels like it's a 50-50. There again, we're going to choose door number one, and these are always laid out, car, goat, goat, every one of them. So we're going to choose number one. Monty's going to open door number 3 because we've chose 1 and he could do 2 or 3, it doesn't matter. And he's going to say, do you want to stick with door number 1 or do you want to switch? Now remember, this series we're doing the switches, so we are going to go from 1, he showed us 3, so we're going to take 2, and we're a loser on that round. So now here we are going to choose door number 2, and Monty's going to open door number 3 to show the goat. And Monty's going to say, do you want to stay with 2 or do you want to go with 1? Of course, we are switching this round. We're going to go with 1, and we're a winner. We get the car. Okay, so we've come down to our last possible choice. We're doing the switches, and we are going to choose door number 3. Monty's going to open door number 2 because he cannot open 1 because it's the car. And he's going to say, do you want to stay with your choice or do you want to switch? And of course, we are going to switch. So that means we take door number 1 and we get the car. So as you can hopefully see from doing this, by the act of switching, when one of the doors is revealed not to be a winner, is always going to give you better odds. You're going to win 2 out of 3 times as opposed to not switching, which is 1 out of 3 times. When your brain is screaming to you that it's a 50-50, it's actually not, because he does away with one that is, he does away with the loser door. So you're always better to switch. I hope you guys enjoyed it. We'll see you.